Talk, 1340 WBIW.
Talk of the Town on 1340 WBIW is brought to you in part by Bedford Federal Savings Bank. Stop by either of their convenient locations or visit them online at bedfed.com. Bedford Federal Savings Bank, where community comes first. Equal housing lender, member FDIC. Now your host of Talk of the Town, Michelle Hartman. Happy Friday.
That's what I was going to say. Happy Friday to you, Joe. How are you?
Oh, I'm loving this warm weather.
You know, I thought about you this morning. I thought you would probably be enjoying this as I was kind of grumbling under my breath.
I came out the apartment door, and that nice, humid air hit me in the face, and I went, yes!
Did you think of me and thought Michelle's not going to be happy?
No, I thought about the nice drive into work this morning with the windows down.
Oh, mercy. Boy, it was foggy the other day, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
That was tough.
That moved in all of a sudden, because when I drove into work, there was nothing. And then after I had been here about 45 minutes doing my routines, I just happened to go out the front door again and look. And wow, guess who come to town?
Yeah.
Mr. Fogg came, and he's going to stay for a while.
You got any plans for the weekend?
I would like to go down and visit some friends down in Evansville. I hopefully will get to do that.
Well, good. That'd be fun.
Yeah, I hang out with all kinds of people down there.
Now, did you go to the hot rod thing? Was it last weekend down there?
No, I did not.
Didn't get that?
No.
Okay.
I just was with some friends again, and I just haven't seen some of these people for like 5 years. So.
Need to catch up.
Yeah, lots of gossip.
Got to catch up on that, right?
Yeah.
Well, I am going to be having a indoor household sale at my place this weekend.
Oh, really?
Yes, so if anybody's looking for anything pretty much, tables, chairs, lamps, whatever.
Well, you know who you're talking to, don't you?
Well, you need to come out and see me because we are just going to open the place up and say, have at it, go shopping. So,
all right.
There we go.
Bring some of that Joe Orn cash.
That's right. That's right. If you're looking for something else to do this weekend, the Bean Blossom Blues Fest actually kicked off yesterday, and it will run through the 23rd, so that would be kind of fun.
Do they serve barbecue there?
They do, actually. They're having a barbecue cook-off.
Ooh, I like going to those festivals and having blues and barbecue. Ooh.
There you go. They're going to have live music. You're going to have camping opportunities. It's at the Bill Monroe Music Park, which is just about 5 miles on north of Nashville, Indiana, on State Road 135. And you can actually go to, this is kind of a tongue twister almost for me, I have to kind of slow down with it, beanblossomblues.com and find out for ticket information and all the bands that are going to be playing and anything you would need to know. So lots of cool stuff going on there. And also, because it's Friday phrase. Love my Friday phrase time.
Alrighty.
All right, here we go. Let your dreams be bigger than your fears and your actions louder than your words. Good words to live by, huh?
I think I've done pretty good on that one.
Good. I'm proud of you. Good job. And I got a treat this morning. Got to meet somebody new. Got to have somebody on the show we've never had before. So that's always fun. I keep promising him that it's going to be fun, and I don't think he believes me just yet, but I got to meet Doc Ernst this morning, and he is Vice President for Milestone. Now, should I say Milestone Contractors, or what's the technical way to say that?
Milestone Contractors.
Okay. All right. Well, how are you this morning?
I'm great.
Thanks for coming in.
You're welcome.
And we were chatting before we went on the air, all kinds of interesting things I'm learning about Milestone. Tell me a little bit about the company, how long they've been around. You said they consolidated actually 3 different companies.
Yes, in 95, we consolidated 3 construction companies. Astro Paving out of Indianapolis, Contractors United out of Columbus, and Faulber Construction out of Lafayette.
Okay.
And since then, we've taken on some other companies. One is Leica from up in Portland, and then we have some other affiliated companies, Wabash Valley, which is not really part of Milestone, but it's part of our overall organization. Open Roads over in Illinois, and then Walsh and Kelly out of South Bend.
So you got a lot.
So they're part of the overall Heritage Group, which is our parent company. But we are in the state of Indiana, mostly, except for Open Roads, which is over in Illinois. So we do a lot of things. We do bridges, flat work, concrete, curbs, and sidewalks, and mainline concrete.
What's mainline concrete?
That's with concrete machine, like on interstate work.
Okay.
Asphalt work. We do underground, storm, sanitary, water. So we're a very versatile organization. And the Heritage Group, which is our parent company, as I mentioned, and we have liquid asphalt, aggregates, petroleum. So everything that we do as an organization, for the most part, and environmental companies also, we use a lot of our own materials.
And we were talking, when you told me that, I said, well, you guys, that's a good thing, I think, because pretty much anything you need, you basically own, in a way.
We try to keep it in-house as much as possible.
That's good, because that way you're in control of your stuff. You don't rely on anybody else. I like that.
You'd like to think so.
Yeah. Well, you don't agree with that all the time, huh? That's the plan, huh?
There are some tough spots.
Yeah. Now, how long have you been with the company? As you said, you kind of actually worked twice for it.
Yeah, I was in Lafayette for around 10 years, from 92 to 01, and then I left the company for 8 or 9 years and came back in 09, and when they opened the Bloomington office, and I had a good relationship with the president at that time, and he approached me about coming back, and I jumped at the opportunity.
So it must be a pretty good place to work for.
It's an excellent company.
That's awesome.
Very generous organization.
And you said you started out actually as a laborer.
Years ago, yes, I started out probably in the late 70s, working as a laborer when I was in college. And my first job was to mix mortar day in and day out.
By hand?
By hand.
Whew.
And that's back when, now they have, everything's prefab, like your catch basins and your manholes, all your structures are all prefab. That's back when you used to build them out of brick and block.
Okay.
So I did that all summer, my first summer when I was working in the summertime, then going to college.
Wow.
It was, at that point in time, I wasn't so sure that this was the business I really wanted to stay in, but, it's been very good to me and very good to my family.
And I'd say by the time you went home at night after doing that, you knew you'd been at work all day, didn't you?
Well, I don't know. At that age, it didn't bother me too much. I wouldn't want to try it today.
That's amazing. I tell you, and we were talking before we went on the air, I said, days like this, when I go past the construction site, and even just the people that are just flagging, I feel for them, because, mercy, I couldn't do that. I couldn't stand out on that asphalt and that heat. I couldn't do it.
Yeah, and that's something about our organization, too. We're very safety-driven. We push it very hard. I was out on some sites yesterday, and some of the conversations I tried to have every place I stopped was to make sure your people are hydrated, because the heat's up, and dehydration is definitely something that we have to watch out for. So, yeah. But we're very focused on safety, and that's from the top down.
What about, and this is maybe a question, I don't know if we want to do it or not, but I always kind of wonder, like when I see a construction site, a lot of times they'll have the roads blocked off so far ahead where they're not even working, it looks like, and you think, well, why do they have to do that? Is that some kind of a requirement that you have to go so many feet out?
Well, I would have to see the exact project. Yeah, okay. I understand what you're saying with that, but you can't really you don't want to move your setups back and forth because it confuses the public.
Okay.
So when you have them set up at point A, and let's say the next day you go to point B and there might be a road in between the two that somebody decides to use, and then it's back to point A.
Okay.
It gets confusing for the motoring public, so it's best just to set them up and be done with it.
Okay. All right. Well, sometimes I'm driving along and thinking, there's not even anybody working up here. Why are we blocked off?
Yeah, I understand
what
you're saying there.
All right. See, I'm a quizzitive little gal.
That's good.
All right. Well, let's take a break real quick for a commercial, but everybody stay with me. I'll be back with lots more Talk of the Town.
Bedford Federal Savings Bank is proud to support our community and local events. Please join us for the
Talk of the Town, Michelle Hartman.
All right. Thank you, Joe. My guest this morning is Doc Ernst, and he is the Vice President at Milestone Contractors. And I'm learning all kinds of things about Milestone. I told him before we went on the show here, I said, we see the trucks running all over town, but a lot of people probably think, okay, what do they actually do? I mean, we know construction, but what?
We're basically a heavy highway contractor. We're actually doing John Williams Boulevard as we speak. It's a new sidewalk, 7,000 feet of new sidewalk with retaining walls and some steps to go into the homes.
That'd be nice.
It will be nice when it's finished. There's lighting going up.
Cool.
We paved for the Lawrence County this year. We've paved for the city of Bedford before. We did the Williams Bridge a few years back.
That was a big job.
It was a big job. We just set set the largest beams we've ever set on the I-69 project that we're doing down in Greene County. We have operations going in Vincennes, Monroe City, Paoli. We're pretty spread out. We just finished the IU Purple Lot. It was a fast-track project that bid back in April and had to be done by end of today. It was a large, fast track, and it turned out fantastic. It's a great-looking job. I'm sure our customer was extremely happy. So, technology-wise, that's another thing. We built that IU project all with GPS.
That's amazing.
And some of our equipment now has GPS, and it, especially some more advanced things, is we just bought a concrete mainline paver that you do interstates with. And stringless GPS paver. That means there is no strings that the wands run off of like it's been done over the last 20 or 30 years. So it's all ran by satellite as far as grade and elevation. It's a thing of the future.
Isn't that wild that they can do that?
It is wild. I've came from back when they had batter boards that you used to set up to put sewer pipe in, to using pipe lasers. Now, pipe lasers have been around probably for better than 20 years, maybe even 30, but when I started, which is a little bit before that, we used batter boards, and if people, you'd have to really show someone what it means to set up a batter board. So it's come a long way.
I've never even heard of that before, so you're talking to a girl here that doesn't have a clue.
Some of the younger guys that work in our organization, you can tell them what batter boards are, and they can visualize. But if you saw them set up, it's a different way, and it's a very slow way, actually.
And you were talking just like earlier about how the changes in like pouring the concrete things, everything's prefab now, and all that kind of too. So yeah, you
buy them from suppliers, and they're made with holes in them. And back 40 years ago, you used to, like I say, you brick or put block down and build these things, and there's no doubt what's more efficient.
I was going to say that saves a lot of time, doesn't
right.
it, in construction?
Correct.
Probably, actually, I guess that would help the cost, I assume, too, and probably even some safety issues if you're not having to do some of that.
Well, as I said, we try to make safety a top priority, so I wouldn't consider either or more safe than the other, but from a speed standpoint, without a doubt.
That's cool. Do you see anything like still to come that, like technology-wise, or changes that is probably going to be coming soon?
I think the next thing will be stringless on curb machines. I think it's being worked on. So instead of absolutely having pins in a parking lot with strings attached to it, so where the wand controls the grade on the machine, it'll be stringless. It's fantastic technology. And we have an asphalt paving machine now that can run off GPS.
That's wild.
It is.
Probably if somebody actually would come out to a site now and just like be with you, could go on a tour, they would probably be blown away, wouldn't they?
Well, you learn a lot. I mean, everyone thinks it takes so long to build projects. Actually, they're so fast-tracked today, it's unbelievable compared to, we had I don't forget the dollar amount, $15 million job in Annapolis last fall that had to be built in 3 months. And they shut the interstate down for it.
Wow.
And we built that ahead of schedule. Now, that is a huge undertaking.
Well, yeah.
So the NDOT expects more from the contractors, and we expect more from ourselves.
Which I guess is always good. Make you better all the time, right?
Yes.
You mentioned that you just recently set the largest beams you've ever set. How big were they?
I can't answer that.
Okay.
I wasn't overly involved in the project, so I don't know the length and the weight, but it's the largest. I do know it's the largest beams that our company's ever set.
Cool.
So,
talk a little bit about I-69. I know you said you didn't work with that yourself, but a lot of people here, I think, are kind of wondering, okay, where is that actually going to go? Where's it going to come out? Where's it going to cross in the Bloomington area? I mean, what's going to happen with that?
well, actually, traffic's just been narrowed down just north of Victor Pike. That's where the tie-in's going to be for the phases from here through Greene County and on down into Davies County.
Okay.
From that point on, it's going straight up 37. Okay. And the next section has already bid, and that's from Bloomington to Martinsville. Okay. And that's supposed to start this fall.
Okay. All right. When will they be done with the part down in towards us more?
The end of next year.
Okay.
Should be, I think, the section that is being built today from 37 towards Greene County, in the next year, I think, is the deadline.
That's going to look different when that's done, isn't it?
It will look different,
Yeah.
but it's going to take a lot of traffic off some of the side roads, and with all the hills and dales and what have you on some of the side roads, there's a safety factor there also.
How many people do you employ? I would think with that many companies and that much stuff going on that would be a huge staff.
Well, Milestone in the peak season, which I consider March to December, we run upwards of 1,000 employees, and then we have around 300 full-time. That administrative, estimating, and we have some operations that run in the winter, depending on what that is.
I was going to say, is anything year-round with it anymore?
There's some, yeah. And we like to have it year-round, really, because obviously it turns dollars, which helps pay the bills.
And I guess all that kind of depends on Mother Nature, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Last year would not have been a good year to have any deadlines, put it that way.
And some of the deadlines, I mean, you have fines attached to those, don't you, sometimes?
Absolutely.
No pressure there, huh?
The IU job, I won't get into the dollar amount, but there was a liquidated damage on that project if we didn't have it finished by the end of today. So we're in good shape there, and we appreciate their business.
I would think some of that, though, is a lot of stress, isn't it?
It can be, especially if you're running behind.
Yeah.
Fortunately, we were on top of that. We had a good plan going in, and the job turned out really, 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 really well so far.
What do you like so much about working this kind of business? I know you've done it twice now, so what do you like so much about it?
I think that the challenge, every job's different. There's nothing ever the same. Every project has something else about it. And if we could eliminate problems, and I think truthfully the foresight and the planning is the key. We proved to ourselves what we can do on the IU project. I mean, you turn a $4 million job in 3 months with all the 11,000 yards of rock on it. It was a great project for us, and I think we proved to ourselves what our abilities are.
Cool. All right, I know you guys have a website, right?
We do.
Can you read that to me?
I can. It's milestonelp.com.
Okay, so what can they find if they go to the website?
They'll find all of our offices, phone numbers, contact folks, what we do. Obviously, as I said before, from bridges to laying pipe.
Okay.
If someone needs to get a hold of our office in Bloomington, that number would be 812-330-2037. We'd be happy to take your calls and be more than happy to give you quotes on anything you need done.
All right. Well, this has been interesting. As always, I've learned some stuff. If I can just remember it now, that's the key thing.
Michelle, if you want to go out on the job site sometime, just let me know and we'll get you there.
I would love that. Not when it's this hot, but I would love that.
Yeah.
Hey, thank you for coming in this morning.
You're more than welcome.
All right, and thanks to all of you for listening to Talk of the Town. Everybody go out, have an awesome weekend, and I'll see you back here Monday morning.